Imagine a journey so challenging that few would dare undertake it, but which offered the promise of a better life. The Oregon Trail, in the heart of the 19th century Wild West, was not just a dirt road, it was a route of courage and determination, where dreams and sacrifices intertwined. Starting from Independence, Missouri, the pioneers traveled some 3,500 kilometers to the Columbia River, facing steep mountains, treacherous rivers, and unpredictable weather. It was the relentless search for new opportunities, fertile lands, and a promising future that drove these people, often leaving everything behind. But what really drove these travelers? Was it simply the pursuit of riches or something greater, like manifest destiny, that whispered in their ears that they were destined to conquer new horizons? The Oregon Trail was not just a route to new lands, it was a symbol of the expansion of the United States territory, shaping the future of a nation. Pioneers, hunters, and missionaries paved the way for those who came after, turning challenges into opportunities and exploring a territory where the promise was as vast as the dangers. And don't think that this story is a thing of the past. Traces of this journey still exist, as silent testaments to the courage that shaped the Wild West. Support posts, trail improvements, travel guides, and bridges sprang up to make the crossing easier, but they did not eliminate the risks. Every decision made on this journey was a choice between moving forward or succumbing to obstacles. Today, we look back on this story with admiration, but also as a source of ongoing inspiration. These pioneers faced mountains, illnesses, and accidents, driven by a burning desire for a better life. Each step on the trail was an act of faith and perseverance, a lesson that resonates to this day. The path to our dreams is full of challenges, but the reward is in the journey, not just the final destination. What are you willing to face to achieve your own dreams? This is the legacy of the Oregon Trail, a timeless reminder that courage and determination can take us beyond known limits. Challenges and promises. In the 19th century, the Oregon Trail unfolded as a road of possibilities and challenges. Just imagine leaving Independence, Missouri, and traveling nearly 2,200 miles to the Columbia River, facing unknown terrain. This challenging journey was not just a crossing, it was a promise of something greater. Each step the pioneers took was a leap of faith into the unknown, where hardships mixed with the desire for a better future. After all, who wouldn't risk everything for a chance to rewrite their own history? Behind every wagon train was a mix of hope and fear. The pioneers knew the crossing would not be easy. Treacherous rivers, steep mountains, and unpredictable weather stood in the way, but the idea of new opportunities and fertile lands was the fuel that drove them. And these were not just families seeking wealth. Many were escaping wars, economic hardships, or pursuing the dream of a more dignified life. This was the Wild West, where every obstacle was a reminder that success never comes without a struggle. Imagine waking up every morning and staring into an endless horizon, not knowing what lay ahead. The promise of wealth and fertile lands seemed to shine brighter than the blazing sun on the plains. Pioneers gambled everything, leaving behind the security of the known for a piece of land they could call their own. It wasn't just a physical journey, it was a challenge of courage and perseverance, where every step forward was an act of faith. And that's something we can all apply to our lives today. When was the last time you allowed yourself to dream big and take a bold step into the unknown? But the hardships didn't end there. The promise of the Oregon Trail was not guaranteed. It required sacrifices that tested both body and mind. But for each pioneer, the horizon was more than a destination. It was a symbol of all that they could achieve. And that's exactly when we begin to understand what drove this challenging journey, a relentless pursuit of realizing dreams, a force that moved multitudes, paving the way for the even greater challenges that would follow. Courage and perseverance. The courage and perseverance of pioneers are elements that shaped the history of the Oregon Trail. Imagine venturing across steep mountains and treacherous rivers, facing dangers that tested the limits of body and mind. Many pioneers left behind everything they knew, driven by an unyielding desire to find a better life. It wasn't just about following a trail, it was about overcoming their own fears, the uncertainty of the future, and the daily challenges of an unforgiving journey. Diseases such as cholera and typhoid spread quickly, and a simple injury could be fatal. Accidents were common, from wagons overturning while crossing a river to falls on rough terrain. The trail became a battleground against the unpredictable, where each day was a new test of endurance. But despite the adversities, it was the hope of a better tomorrow that kept the pioneers going, even when giving up seemed like the wisest choice. Many people succumbed to the hardships, but those who kept going left behind a legacy of resilience. Every river crossed, every mountain climbed, was a victory against nature itself, an indelible mark of courage etched into the soil of the Old West. Today, when we look back at the remains of that journey, it is clear that true achievement was not just in reaching the destination, but in each choice to continue, despite everything. This story of courage inspires us to this day. It reminds us that, just as the pioneers faced their own treacherous mountains and rivers, we all have our challenges to overcome. And sometimes, what matters most is taking the next step, even if the path seems impossible. The perseverance of the pioneers leads us to the next chapter, where the search for new opportunities shows us that the desire for a better future is a powerful fuel. Diverse motivations. In the 19th century, the journey along the Oregon Trail was motivated by dreams and hopes that went beyond the simple desire for a better life. For many, the promise of fertile lands and wealth seemed like a unique opportunity. They saw in these vast plains and mountains the chance to build something from scratch, far from the economic hardships and wars that ravaged the eastern United States. Imagine entire families, with nothing but courage and a dream, heading out into the unknown, guided by the conviction that the sacrifice would be worth it. The idea of manifest destiny, a widely held belief at the time, gave pioneers the certainty that it was their duty to expand American territory to the Pacific. This thought fueled an almost mystical feeling that they were fulfilling a greater role in history. For them, the Oregon Trail was not just a path, it was a calling, a destiny traced by the stars themselves. It was as if each step taken was a step forward in the building of a new nation, where each family would plant the seed of a brighter future. Many saw the trail as a way out of a hard-fought past. Families who had lost everything in economic downturns or who suffered from the lack of opportunities in the crowded industrial cities of the East saw the West as a new chance. It was as if, by crossing those steep mountains and treacherous rivers, they could finally leave behind the shadows of a deprived past. It was not just a journey, it was a break from what held them back, an act of courage against what seemed insurmountable. Each pioneer brought with them a unique motivation, but they all shared the same desire for change. This diversity of dreams and motivations is what made the Oregon Trail a symbol of perseverance and renewal. Every face in the crowd of ox carts had a story of overcoming, a promise to themselves that no matter the challenges, they would not turn back. This spirit of determination is what, to this day, inspires new generations to pursue their own dreams, no matter how challenging they may seem. Trail development. The Oregon Trail, originally a wilderness route forged by hunters and missionaries, soon became a crucial route for the expansion of American territory. These early pioneers blazed a trail, braving the unknown and leaving trails for those who would follow. It was a journey for the few, where each step represented a step forward into the unknown, but also a promise of a more prosperous future. Over time, the trail underwent significant improvements, such as the construction of outposts and the discovery of more accessible passages, which made the journey less deadly and more appealing to entire families. These improvements, however, did not come without effort. Brave and visionary men risked their lives to identify safe routes, building bridges and trail markers that served as valuable guides to the pioneers. Imagine crossing a treacherous river with a makeshift bridge, knowing that a safe crossing could mean the difference between life and death. Each structure built, each mark left along the way, represented a small triumph over the unforgiving nature and the constant challenges of the journey. The aid stations became veritable oases amidst the harshness of the trail. There, the pioneers could rest, replenish their supplies, and obtain vital information about the next stretches. Many of these stations evolved into small communities that would later become thriving cities. There were points of human connection where stories were exchanged, where fatigue found a brief respite, and where travelers' dreams were renewed to continue the journey. Over time, the improvements to the Oregon Trail became a symbol of the collaborative spirit and human resilience. Each advance, each small adaptation to the terrain, was proof that, even in the face of the most brutal adversities, human beings have the capacity to adapt and evolve. And so, the trail, which began as a path for solitary hunters, gradually transformed into a route of collective hope, paving the way for the next challenge that the pioneers would face. Challenges of the journey. The Oregon Trail crossing was a true test of endurance. The unpredictable weather, with sudden storms and sudden changes in temperature, caught many pioneers off guard. Imagine yourself on an open plain, with no shelter, being surprised by a sandstorm or snowstorm. It wasn't just physical strength that counted, but also the ability to quickly adapt to adverse conditions. And, look, this ability to adapt can be applied to our lives today, to any unexpected challenge. In addition to the weather, river crossings represented one of the greatest dangers of the journey. Treacherous rivers with no safe bridges, such as the Platte River, turned a simple crossing into a real nightmare. Many pioneers lost their wagons and even their lives in the turbulent waters. It took a combination of luck and knowledge to successfully cross. This shows us the importance of being well prepared for any obstacle that life throws our way. Disease was a constant companion on the trail. Cholera, dysentery, and other infections spread quickly, claiming victims without discrimination. Without access to doctors or modern medicines, the pioneers had to rely on home remedies in the hope that their strength would be enough to overcome their illnesses. It is a reminder of how fragile health is and how, even today, we must value basic care and prevention. Accidents were also common. A broken wheel, a lost horse, or a poorly handled axe could turn a day of travel into a nightmare. These tense moments tested patience and the ability to solve problems quickly. In the end, each challenge faced became a valuable lesson, not only for the pioneers, but for us as well. After all, who has never had to deal with a complicated situation when everything seemed to fall apart? Impact of guides and improvements. Travel guides became the unsung heroes of the Oregon Trail. They knew the best routes, the least dangerous crossing points, and the places where pioneers could find drinking water. A good guide could be the difference between success and failure on a journey. This teaches us the value of seeking guidance when we are in unfamiliar territory, whether it is a new job, a challenging project, or a life decision. Having a mentor or someone who has already walked the trail is a powerful advantage. Over time, the trail underwent several improvements that made the pioneers' journey easier. Building bridges over the most dangerous rivers and marking the trail with visible signs significantly reduced accidents. These innovations, although simple, greatly increased the chances of travelers' success. This shows how small improvements and constant adjustments can make a big difference in our daily challenges. Sometimes, a small adjustment to our routine can take us much further. Trail markers, such as piled rocks or marked trees, functioned as a primitive GPS, guiding travelers along the right paths. These markers not only showed the direction, but also served as reminders that others had already passed through and survived. Thus, each marker found was like a silent message of encouragement. In life, we also encounter trail markers left by those who came before us, whether they were advice, books, or inspiring examples. The aid stations along the trail became true oases for the pioneers. At these points, it was possible to replenish supplies, repair equipment, and, most importantly, exchange experiences with other travelers. This reinforces the importance of a support network on any journey, whether physical or emotional. Having a place, or a person, to recharge your batteries is essential to keep moving forward. And, at the end of each stop, the trail continued, taking the pioneers even closer to their dream. Legacy and preservation. The Oregon Trail has left a deep and lasting legacy in the history of the United States. Every mile the pioneers traveled helped expand the American landscape, paving the way for what the country would become. Today, the traces of that journey remain, not only in the form of trails and monuments, but also in the values of courage, perseverance, and adventure that shaped the nation. It reminds us that even in our personal journeys, the footprints we leave can inspire generations to come. The traces of the Oregon Trail are more than just historical landmarks. They are silent testaments to dreams, fears, and triumphs. As we walk these sites today, we can almost hear the echoes of the footsteps of those who crossed mountains and braved treacherous rivers in search of a better life. Preserving these traces keeps alive the collective memory of an era of exploration and courage. It is a constant reminder that with determination, we can overcome the most difficult challenges. Preserving the Oregon Trail involves an ongoing effort to keep this crucial piece of history alive. National parks, museums, and conservation projects are dedicated to protecting and telling the story of these epic journeys. These efforts ensure that the lessons of courage and resilience of the pioneers are not forgotten. It is like caring for a family heirloom. We preserve what is valuable so that future generations can learn and be inspired by the stories of the past. The legacy of the Oregon Trail continues to inspire those who seek to go beyond the known limits. It is a testament to the human capacity to face the unknown with bravery and hope. Every stone on the trail, every preserved story, is an invitation to reflect on one's own challenges and find the courage to move forward. In this way, the trail is not just a historical route, it is a timeless symbol of human perseverance and a beacon that lights the way for all who wish to forge their own destiny.